Hi, Bob here. I'm going to show you in this video how to go about completing one of the new ETO weekly practice exercises. In particular, I'm going to show you how to complete the exercise for the first Thursday of any month, which will be an ICS 213 form. This is not going to be an introduction to WinLink. This is not going to be an introduction on how to set up WinLink. This is not going to show where you're going to get the instructions from. This is just going to say, once you get the instructions, how to go about completing the form. So let's start with a new message. And we're going to select the template. And we're going to select from the ICS USA forms under standard forms. And it's going to be ICS 213 general message. It's probably the most common message type. So over in this window over here, I have the instructions. This is very different from the normal instructions that ETO has been using for our monthly training exercises, which is a multi-page document with all sorts of background and narratives and scenarios and this and that and the other thing. This is just saying what we want you to do. Complete an ICS 213 message within this time window. So let's go ahead and do that. So look on the form, and we're not even set up yet, so we'll click on the setup button, and we're asking for EmComm training organization. I'm a big fan of copy and paste. It's perfectly fine. In fact, it's probably even better. This is an exercise checked. This is definitely an exercise, and we do want you to check this field. The incident name is ETO Weekly Practice. Again, I'm going to copy that. This is being addressed to Julia Jenkins. And I'll paste that in. And you see that I didn't even copy the last letter, so I'll just go ahead and type that in. It's coming from Caleb Cooper, who is an instructor. The subject is going to be the ETO Weekly Practice Exercise for December 4th. The content, whoops, there's a couple of fields which aren't showing up. I'm just doing this. I'm saying click in the box to accept the date. So I click and I click. Coming back to the instructions, it says inside the message body have the field exercise ID and something that looks like a telephone number. So we do want you to say exercise ID. We don't just want you to put in the thing that looks like a telephone number, because it's not a telephone number. It's an exercise ID, which is why we preface it with the tag. I learned in feedback from previous exercises that it's a really bad idea to put something in to the message box without saying what it is. People might think it's a phone number and they might try to call it. So let's just exercise ID as such. Approved by Chloe Chambers, and her title is Admin Manager. So I'm checking to be sure that I have a latitude and longitude set. I'm not going to go into how that happens if you don't already have it set. There are instructions also on the ETO website, and I'm sure you can find a YouTube video on how to do that. Just make sure that you have a latitude and longitude. If you're in the Western Hemisphere, make sure that you have it set to a negative value. And I like to save my messages before I submit them. And I'm ready to submit this now. And please don't change the subject. It doesn't help anything. But please do make sure that the RMS Express form is set. Again, it's possible to turn that off. We're not going to cover that in this video. We're just instructing you on how to set this. And now it's time to address it. All the weekly ETO messages are being sent to a new tactical address called ETO Practice. I don't like typing in addresses by hand. It's really easy to make a typo and send it to the wrong address. With our ETO tactical addresses, people tend to call them ETO-01, and they'll address it to ETO-01 instead of ETO-01. So what I like to do is I like to create contacts, and I test my contact, and then I can just double click on the contact and make sure that I have it addressed correctly. We're not going to cover contacts in this message. This is just showing you how we go from instructions that look like this to messages that look like this with the form attachment, post it to the outbox. I like to double check in the outbox that everything is done correctly, that I still have my message, I still have my attachment. It's addressed to ETO practice. At this point, I can open up a session, whatever session I want. The focus at ETO, especially for the weekly practice exercises, is not how you send the message, but making sure that you get the contents of the message according to the instructions. So send it any way you want. Telnet's perfectly fine. Open a Telnet session and send it off. And that's all there is to it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you tried the ETO weekly practices. First Thursday will be in ICS 213. Second Thursday will be in ICS 213 resource request. Third Thursday will be our regular monthly training exercises. Fourth Thursday will be in ICS 205 radio plan. And fifth Thursday, which happens once a quarter or so, will be a field situation report, at least through the first quarter of 2026. That's all for now. Submit those messages. See you later. Bye.